Kendrick Lamar is one of the greatest hip-hop artists of all time, and with him releasing his next studio album on the 13th, I feel like this would be a perfect time to give my personal ranking of all his projects. Now, to preface, I will only be looking through his projects available on Spotify, and deluxe versions are not on the list. Got it? Let's get to it. As with most artists, Kendrick's early work is probably his worst, and that's not to spite him. Overly Dedicated is still a very good debut album, but in the grand scheme of his career, it is his weakest, in my opinion. It's been over a decade since it released, and it aged fine, I guess. It sounds decent, Kendrick's delivery is good, not great, and overall, a large majority of the album I probably will never listen to again. But there are a few standouts on the project that plant the seeds for more to come later in his career. This includes Ignorance is Bliss and Average Joe as standouts for me. Ahead of Overly Dedicated is Section 80, a very good album, and a major step in quality overall for Kendrick. There are a number of songs off this project I'd label as landing in his greatest hits, like Chapter 6, Ronald Reagan Era, Poor Man's Dreams, and Cushion Corinthians. But comparing this to Overly Dedicated, which I think was consistently decent, Section 80 has songs that I definitely won't listen to again, like Tammy's Song and No Makeup. But since the great highs of Section 80 outweigh the negatives, I would put it over a decent project like Overly Dedicated. Black Panther is a mix of good songs and decent songs. It's good. There's not a lot to say about it, which may be why it may be considered too low on the list. If anything, it serves as another piece of proof that Kendrick's projects are very consistent in giving good music, which really should have never been a question in the first place, looking at his discography. Some of my favorites include All the Stars, X, Paramedic, and King's Dead. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Damn is very, very good. Heavily considered his most poppy album, which the word is usually tied with a decrease in its authenticity. But this album doesn't really check those boxes. It is still phenomenally mixed, with a clear direction at no loss of authenticity. And a lot of that may stem from songs like Loyalty, Love, or God, which are sounds not commonly associated with his music. But even then, those are good songs overall. And should you need it in a Kendrick Lamar album, you still have those harder songs like DNA, Humble, and Duckworth, which are my personal standout songs. A lot of people wouldn't consider this album to be official, since it's commonly known as Kendrick's Throwaways. Some probably wouldn't even consider it a project at all, since it's just songs picked from different eras and projects throughout Kendrick's career. But to me, this is some of his best work, honestly. An album called Untitled Unmastered being this good for what it is, a throwaway album, is phenomenal. And yes, this is better than Damn, in my opinion at least. I love the pacing and the jazz tones in it. Especially paired with Kendrick's aggressive yet raspy voice, this is Kendrick punching at those peaks in his discography once again. Untitled 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8 are standouts for me. Now, probably the hardest part of ranking anything subjectively, picking the first and second. For a lot of people, these placings switch from time to time, but not for me. Kendrick's definitive second best project of his career so far is Fresh out of school, cause I was a high school grad, sleeping in the living room of my mama's bed. What should have been the 2014 best rap album is Kendrick Lamar's Good Kid, Mad City. Considered by many, even myself, to be one of the greatest hip-hop albums of all time. From front to back, you get hit after hit after hit after hit. Other than that, there's not a lot to say that hasn't already been said. Backseat Freestyle is great, Good Kid is great, Mad City is great, Swing Pulse is great, Compton is great. This album is insanely great. I'm with this complexion. Two steps. If Good Kid, Mad City is Kendrick's best hip-hop album, To Pimp a Butterfly is his greatest album. I talked about it earlier in Untitled Unmastered, but anytime and every time you mix jazz with Kendrick Lamar, you will get perfection every single time. This is a perfect album from front to back, infused with elements of funk and neo-soul. It pushes Kendrick to give his very best in both delivery and lyricism. And the production? It has to be the best produced album ever as well. All the songs on the album are phenomenal. All of them, including the interludes, just fit so well in the storytelling and consistency of the project. And honestly, I don't think it can be topped. This is Kendrick Lamar at his best. So, that's my list. Feel free to leave your thoughts down in the comment section below. And once again, thanks for watching.